Hello everyone, today in this video we'll fight against the atmosphere of our world around us, and today we will talk about very recent event, the return of Mr. Janusz to his homeland, and finally it was possible to make his return real, and officially it's called that Mr. Janusz is being deported from South Africa to Poland, and he just served his sentence. Just to remind you, in 1993 he killed with the pistol Mr. Chris Hani, who was openly the communist activist trained in Soviet Union, and he didn't hide it. So we know if you were communistic activist trained in Soviet Union, so he was Soviet agent. Anti-legal South Africa government activist, and also surprisingly at those days, early 1990s, not prosecuted, living in nice house, we have to remember that. And Mr. Janusz, when he was for his first years in South Africa, he was working in many professions, also like a truck driver, and he was a member for short time of more extreme Afrikaner nationalist organization. Later he was member of the Conservative Party because he just finished his membership in this more extreme Afrikaner organization and became, as I said, ordinary member of the Conservative Party. And in 1993 he shot to death Mr. Hani, the communist, one of the closest collaborator of Mr. Mandela. So we know that Mr. Mandela, announced angel by many so-called Western media, was seemingly also of the same breed as Mr. Hani, and after African National Congress took power in South Africa, we see how it ended. Country ended up with many problems, social, economical, and really lost its meaning. I do not want to blame or defend any other political system. I'm talking about the fact. And as I said, Mr. Janusz, a tragic figure, is coming back at the age of 71 to his homeland. So, because he served his sentence, so we should be happy. He can spend his final years in his first homeland, and he made in 1981 South Africa his second one, because he was escaping from the communistic Poland. We can also find an explanation of his really anti-communistic sentiment in South Africa. He developed further because he knew that Mr. Hani, Mr. Mandela, and many others were simply tightly connected with Soviet Secret Service. And even Mr. Hani was not hiding it. Sorry, being trained in Moscow means that you are openly Soviet agent, and we shouldn't forget about it. And you are acting for the good of the Soviet interest, not of the interest of your own country. And as I said, I'm not putting any judge. I do not want to say if this what he did was good or bad, but South Africa went on the difficult journey after this so-called transformation, during which some of the black activists like Mr. Zuma, unthinkable president, and Mr. Ramaphosa, and now deceased Mr. de Klerk, so part of the Afrikaner establishment, part of it, like in Poland, betrayed their own people. The same applies to white activists and as well as black activists. They betrayed their own people. They just shared the power between themselves, and the rest of the society, regardless of their color, was drawn into problems and poverty because many of them were robbed of their own properties, regardless of their color. In contradiction to this, what propaganda is saying. And of course, later, recurrently repeating problem of corruption made the rest of the job. in making society frustrated and poor and divided. So this is the outcome, but luckily such people like Mr. Chris Hani didn't come to power immediately after 1994, because it might be the case that the situation of South Africa would be worse and it would follow the path of former Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, under the rule of Mr. Mugabe. Luckily, in all of misfortunes that South Africa encountered, luckily, the Zimbabwe scenario under Mr. Mugabe was not the part of South African history as of now, and I hope it will not be, despite the fact transformation was not successful. And Mr. Janusz was one of the activists who wanted to defend their second homeland they loved so much. Maybe they didn't understand everything. Maybe they were manipulated. Maybe they made mistakes. But at least they saw the threat that was coming and they were trying to act against it as much as they could. As I said, Mr. Janusz is a tragic figure, but luckily he served his sentence and he is coming back to his homeland. Welcome, Mr. Janusz, to homeland. All the best. Have a nice day. Bye.